Do you regret one action that you've taken? Just of everything that you have done in your entire life, what is the one thing that you could go back and change?
You know what? I would have played high school football.
That's your biggest regret, John?
Yes.
You're divorced, your walk out of the Stern Show, and fucking football is your biggest regret? Oh, my God.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I love football. I was good at football, but I didn't reach puberty till 11th grade, and they made everybody shower together because it was like one of those things
Sure.
where they have one shower. I didn't have hair one but to my legs, and I didn't want my whole high school career to be known as Baldy. And
Fordham Baldies, you could have started your own gang.
And I did not play football for the simple fact that I was fearful of being known as not a guy who had reached puberty yet. Meanwhile, my sister, hairy as shit. You know what's weird? Tammy, I've always had this little voice in my head that, is like, I don't know if you have this, but it's always like, you're a loser, you suck, you have no talent.
But basically, Guy, what I only wanted to say to you is OH.
Hello?
Yeah, aren't you from Columbus, Guy? OH.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, OH. I thought you said OH, and I go, I don't know, is that a code word? Hang up?
Yeah, OHIO, right? Like Columbus, aren't you?
Yeah, I was
Ohio
born in
State?
Columbus when I was born in Columbus, but my parents were only there for 2 months or maybe 2 weeks.
No, I remember I once went out with this she was a hot girl, but she had, this huge nose. I mean...
Like me.
No.
Like
Your nose is a 3-month-old next to this girl. I mean, this girl can't play chess because she keeps on knocking over the pieces. I mean, this is... when she was young, kids would hide under her nose when it rained. But she had a huge nose, and then, you know what turned her off about me? Like, when we were at this, bar, and she saw it, she said, "You wear Crocs? What is wrong with you?" I can change my Crocs. You can't change that enormous proboscis hanging from your fucking face.
I think this guy I'm dating is, I think I used the R word back then because you could, but, I think he's retarded. And she's like, why?
I didn't know which R word you meant. I was going like...
I'm sorry, I'm quoting at the time. This is factual evidence.
Oriental, you could only use the term Oriental. At least with me, when I was in high school or whatever, some guy would wear some fruity shirt or something. Oh, that's so gay. You guys like the Kardashians? No. Oh, come on. Holy shit, what the fuck happened to Bruce Jenner? Fucking shit, he went from being on the cover of Wheaties to the cover of Fruit Loops.
No.
And now I hear that he cut off his fucking penis. Ladies, that just takes a pair of balls. Come on, you don't watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians? No, those two cute sisters, Courtney and Kim, and their brother Chloe.
The following is a PodcastOne.com production. He's a comedian known for asking uncomfortable questions to celebrities. The things you really want to know, but are kind of afraid to ask.
By any chance, do you ever accidentally fart in the captain's face? Who the hell are you? For God's sake, that kind of damn question.
She's a comedian with a no-holds-barred attitude.
Goes, well, I never saw a pregnant woman on stage. Well, apparently never been to a really bad strip club.
Together, they'll interview celebrities about, well, everything in a show we call The Stuttering John Podcast. Love, romance, and other lies with Stuttering John and Tammy Pescatelli.
Welcome to the Stuttering John Podcast featuring Tammy Pescatelli. Of course, this is Love, Romance, and Other Lies. We have a big guest today, Tammy. Who is it? The famous chef of all time, the face of the Food Network?
Yes, I will pronounce it wrong. You will correct me. It's Guy Fieri.
Yes, it's actually because I was the announcer on The Tonight Show, and I have been corrected, and they spelt it phonetically. It's Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri, and he's the face of the Food Network.
Yes, I've seen him. And from Ohio, my home state.
Yes, and I am the face of the Eating Food Network. You can tell. But before we get them, Tammy, I know that, look, I love you. Tammy is married to one of my closest friends when I was in New York. I was I was on Tony and Tina's wedding.
That's right.
And there was this guy, Luca Palanca.
Right.
And you know what? The cool thing about Luca, he was always like he always wanted me to see his performance as Tony. Like he was always like you know cool. And I was like, yeah, you're great, and he was.
He was. And I didn't see him back then, but he has so much confidence. So it's good to hear that even back then he was confident.
No, yeah, he was confident. He couldn't wait for me to see him, and now you're married to him. How did you guys meet?
Oh, weird story. I lived in a stripper colony in Los Angeles.
Is there any other place to live in Los Angeles?
The funny thing is he's a comic, but I wouldn't date comics. So we had mutual friends at the Comedy Store, and different things were happening in our lives. He was going home to New York and dealing with the death of his father, and I was really busy on Last Comic Standing, so we never crossed paths, but had the same group of friends. Weirdly enough, I moved into this apartment building, this complex that literally...
In L.A.?
Yeah, in L.A. 6 apartments. It's myself, an attorney, and 4 strippers. And, like, one was an environmentally conscious stripper. She used to ride to work in her electric car. This is like 2001, right? Pick up garbage and stray animals, like, with her giant double H tits, right?
Plastic boobs.
Right, crazy, right. You recycle those. What basket would you put those in? And weirdly enough, but here's the thing, I was so busy as a comic, you're not home a lot. You're only home on Mondays usually, right? If you're busy and you're lucky. So who else is off on Mondays? Strippers. So if you have money, you had friends. And I made really good friends with these girls, and it was so much fun. And then one of them actually was dating her ex-boyfriend, who happened to be Luca's roommate. And one night, she was on the phone with her ex, and she's like, well, what are you and Luca doing? And I said, is that Luca Palanca from the Comedy Store? And she's like, how do you know him? And I go, I don't. And then we went out that night, and next thing you know, that was it.
Wow, it was just the one date you knew right then?
I didn't. He did. I tried to ditch him for a long time.
Why did you try and ditch him? Why?
I think he was just a good guy, and I didn't believe in good guys. I didn't, you know what I mean? I was busy. I had my own things to do. He loved me. He would say, I remember calling my mother because I was like, Ma, I think this guy I'm dating is, I think he's, I used the R word back then because you could, but I'm like, I think he's retarded, and she's like, why?
I didn't know which R word you meant. I was going like,
I'm sorry, I'm quoting at the time. This is factual evidence. And my mother goes, why? And I go, because he always tells me how much he loves me and how beautiful and amazing I am. And she's like, no, you're retarded. And that's it.
I know. We were talking about this, with Howie Mandel on our last podcast, and everything is so politically correct now. Like when we were kids, Oriental was okay,
right?
But now it has to be Asian American, Oriental. You could only use the term Oriental if you're referring to a rug.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like everything changes, and I can't keep up sometimes.
Ethnically ambiguous is what I was told is the popular term now.
I don't know. Like, it's difficult to keep track of what's right and what's wrong. Remember when you used to, at least with me, when I was in high school or whatever, some guy would, like, wear some fruity shirt or something. Like, oh, that's so gay.
Right.
You can't say that anymore.
Well, no, because it doesn't mean that at all. But it's funny, too, on the quite opposite end, when we would say the word and we weren't taking that connotation, we would see Boy George and Queen and Loverboy and not know that they were gay. So it's a weird thing.
Wait, Loverboy's gay?
Sorry to burst your... I know you're working towards the weekend.
I had no idea.
I know you're working for the weekend, John. But, hey, but you and Susanna, I mean, like, you met through Tony and Tina's wedding, right?
Yeah, I met my ex-wife, Susanna, at Tony and Tina's wedding, and... we, hit it off. We went on it. Actually, it's like funny because my father met his
your mother? Or
yeah. So he met my mom on a train in Penn Station, and my father has no social skills, but
say it ain't so.
But my mom was getting hit on by some douchebag on the train at Penn Station. She was straight off the boat from Denmark, and then there was a guy hitting on her, and my father, saw that and broke in and, like, saved her.
Aww.
And interestingly enough, cut to, whatever, 1994, and Tony Tina's wedding. And some guys at Playboy invited us to, some bar to hang out, and some idiot was dancing with Susanna, and I went up and broke in and saved her from this guy the same way.
Generations of gallantry.
Yes, and when we had a great marriage. We were married for 13 years, 3 great years, and
that's what marriage is. You're supposed to hang on, John.
You know what's weird? Tammy, I've always had this little voice in my head that, is like, I don't know if you have this, but it's always like, you're a loser, you suck, you have no talent. And finally I was like, Susanna, shut up.
No. Listen, we all make jokes on those people, but you have 3 beautiful kids.
Yes, I have 3 kids. I'm a Puerto Rican disappointment, and you have 1.
I have 1 that I know about.
Yeah, and he is how old?
How stupid that is! Isn't that the dumbest joke ever?
Yes.
Like as a woman,
yes,
that I know about.
He's how old?
He's 8.
8.
But fully formed and functional, smarter than my husband already. Was born with a mustache. This kid, seriously.
Let's just say that your husband's Italian, so.
But Luke, listen, my husband and I'm up full-blooded Sicilian. He's full-blooded Italian. His family's right. He's first generation Brooklyn. I'm not. I'm second generation. But we're the least hairy Italians that there are. And our son is half Chia Pet. He's so hairy. So hairy.
So, like I told you, because we did our first podcast with Howie Mandel.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And I thought like today, and I told you, I was thinking, we should learn about each other. So
okay.
So I had the idea. We'll ask each other 10 questions.
20 questions in total. Look how smart you are.
Yes. Luke is still counting on his fingers. And what we're trying to, just so we all know about each other. Now, these could be harsh. Remember, it's love, romance,
sure,
and other lies.
I know.
So don't be upset. So we'll just go back and forth. So my first one is very, very, very tame.
So, but it's hashtag, because people could ask us questions, even though this is already done. We can answer it via Twitter.
Yeah.
Hashtag LRAOL is the hashtag, and we'll look for it.
Great. LRAOL. Oh, very
love,
good.
Romance, and other lies.
Wow, it's great. AOL. Which is perfect.
Well, we'll probably get sued, so don't say that, John.
No. I get goofed on because I have AOL all the time. I do too. I had this guy goofing on me and goofing on me. I said, listen, one more joke, and I'm deleting you from my MySpace account.
I love that you told me that once on the phone.
I have AOL, so it distracts people from my clogs. No, my Crocs.
I knew that's what you meant, but it's okay. Clogs are good, too.
No, I remember I once went out with this she was a hot girl, but she had, this huge nose. I mean...
Like me.
No. Your nose is a 3-month-old next to this girl. I mean, this girl can't play chess because she keeps on knocking over the pieces. I mean, this is... when she was young, kids would hide under her nose when it rained. But she had a huge nose, and then, what turned her off about me? When we were at this, bar, and she saw it, she said, you wear Crocs? What is wrong with you?
Isn't that funny how you start picking the things out of them that you were going to accept?
And I'm going, well, I could change my Crocs. You can't change that enormous proboscis hanging from your fucking face.
You're going to have to change that. When you do those, you're going to have to change that to me. Because it is what it is. I just can't get it changed. I'm afraid I'm going to end up like Kanye's mother and dead on the table for plastic surgery. You know what I mean?
All right, so let's do these questions. Here we go.
Okay.
This is my first one.
For me.
For you. Who's your favorite comedian, Tammy? You're a very successful comic. Who's your favorite comedian?
Mine, I can't say anybody else other than Rodney Dangerfield.
Really?
Yeah, Rodney Dangerfield always. Now, it's a different style. But there is nobody like Rodney. I say his name and I smile.
So no female... there wasn't a female comedian.
Yeah, comedy for me isn't gender specific. I never wanted to be a female comedian. The generation of my comedy with, some of the great female comics of our time, we didn't want to be women. We wore the quote-unquote lesbian comedian uniform to get started. We wore T-shirts and vests and big Elaine hair. We didn't try to... I double taped my breasts because I didn't want people to see sexuality. Like, you just wanted to be a comic.
You need a double tape?
I did have to tape them down. Not anymore. Now I have to
Luke
use it
is a
to tape
lucky
them
guy.
up. Now I got Snooki holding them up underneath.
So you have one for me.
Okay, so I need, Jen, like, you're very gregarious and outrageous, and that's what you're known for. But what embarrasses you? What embarrasses you?
God, nothing really. I mean, I guess I would say taking a dump at a date's place and right before you're gonna and then like praying they don't follow you in there, and you don't have matches or anything, so you're stuck with that stench. And I do the time thing, like 10, 15 minutes, it'll dissipate. That would probably be the most embarrassing thing.
You don't have like regularly scheduled times that you could avoid going to a date's house?
No, I drink beer. It could happen at any moment. I don't even have solid ones.
Okay, TMI. My question's over.
Right.
Now you. What's
all right.
up?
When did you lose your virginity?
I was 16. But I had that same boyfriend from 15 until 22.
Wow. And how old was the boyfriend?
So same age. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
The little John Cougar Mellencamp song,
All right.
Football star, cheerleader, that kind of thing.
Okay, so 16. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so
These are going to get worse, trust me.
no, I know from you, I'm sure, but for me, I'm like, okay. Do you regret one action that you've taken? Just everything that you have done in your entire life, what is the one thing that you could go back and change?
You know what? I would have played high school football.
That's your biggest regret, John?
Yes.
You're divorced, your walk out of the Stern Show, and fucking football is your biggest regret? Oh, my God.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I love football. I was good at football, but I didn't reach puberty till 11th grade, and they made everybody shower together because it was like one of those things
Sure.
where they have one shower. I didn't have hair one between my legs, and I didn't want my whole high school career to be known as Baldy. And
Fordham Baldies, you could have started your own gang.
And I did not play football for the simple fact that I was fearful of being known as not a guy who had reached puberty yet. Meanwhile, my sister, hairy as shit. She's now a linebacker for the Rams. All right, here you go. Ever sleep with a celebrity, and who?
I did sleep with a couple football players.
Go ahead.
Not a couple, but
At the same time?
yeah, not at the same time. I dated them like in college, and they went on to play, but
Pro
I don't
football?
even know, like, because what if they had girlfriends? What if I out them
who
and they
cares?
had,
Come on, this is-
No, because it's not like the right thing to do, John. Like, what if I?
But they don't know the years if they have girlfriends now.
But I think one did have a girlfriend.
Oh, come on.
you know?
Give me one name. A football player. Come on. Come on.
I'll just say this. How about this? He was the kicker for the Miami Dolphins.
Garo, your premium?
Yes, that's it.
No, come on.
I don't remember. Seriously, I'm saying there's only been about 4 I haven't slept with a lot of people. Isn't that crazy? Like,
well, that's
I
coming
was
up.
here.
That's
You want to
coming
know
up.
the number?
Yeah.
Like,
How many?
6.
You've only slept with 6 men?
Yeah, well, I dated one guy from like 15 to 22.
Wow.
I'm an Italian girl. I didn't grow up to be a whore.
6 is unbelievable.
That's why I don't have such a good career. If I'd have slept with more people, I would have a way better
God,
career.
in L.A., women will do that in 1 week.
I could do a lot. That doesn't mean, you know.
Did you ever sleep with a woman?
No, that wasn't like popular back then.
Have you ever been turned on by a woman?
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, there are a lot of hot women that I think, like, oh my God, they're, good looking, but it's just not my thing. Plus, now I'm married, so who cares?
Yeah.
it's all downhill from here.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, for you. Who is your 3 a.m. friend? Do you know what 3 a.m. friend is? 3 a.m. friend, this is what I base my life on, right? I'm a 3 a.m. friend. Like, if you call me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I will show up with bail money and a shovel, no questions asked. Who's your 3 a.m. friend?
The guy sitting to your left, Sterling Youngman.
Sterling Youngman.
Yes, he recorded the Howie podcast.
Right.
And
he's right here. Sterling, say.
Yeah.
Hello there.
Yeah.
So can I offset that then? Sterling and John, it's up to you if you want. What's the biggest thing that you've ever saved John from?
Himself.
Well, it's not working, Sterling.
I've enjoyed listening to this because I could comment on everything that he says. Ladies, don't ever let him use your bathroom.
Why?
Oh, he'll destroy it.
That happens to everybody, though, quite frankly.
Yeah. You know how I get how, like, an artist like Picasso or Van Gogh or Da Vinci, they get done with that painting and they admire it so much. Like, they're like, wow, it was perfect. When I take a dump and I look down, I feel the same way.
You want to call people in?
I'm just like, that was good. That was healthy.
You're out of your mind. So you apparently have no, like, wait time then. Like, that's amazing. Dude, there are people, though, that go their whole lives without knowing that. It happened to me once on a date, and I never saw that guy again. Like, I literally avoided his calls and everything else.
What happened?
This guy picks me up. He pretended to be Italian, but he wasn't. But he was Lebanese, but he pretended to be Italian. Like, he showed up all Guido'd up, like, you know, in his Trans Am and his hair slicked back, and he picks me up and he takes me to this seafood restaurant. And I had never had seafood. Like, it's not my thing. Like, we don't really eat outside of the
Italian.
house. We don't eat outside the
Christmas.
house. Well, right, but we don't eat outside the house. You know,
Yeah.
I'd never been to, like, I don't know where it was, like a Red Lobster or something.
Oh, classy.
I don't even know. I don't know what it was, but it was some kind of, you know, seafood.
Who opened the breast kiss out of the plastic wrapper?
Yeah, no, it was a nice restaurant. It was really nice. It wasn't like a Long John, so it was like a nice. I don't think it was Red Lobster, but whatever. And allegedly, and then I'm eating this shrimp and maui or mai or whatever you call it, and I would leave and. You know, I'm young. Like, I got a short skirt on. I'm wearing this. He's got leather seats, and my belly starts to hurt.
God.
I know. So I'm like, hey, I need to use a... It's like a bad movie. I'm like, my stomach... I go... He's like, we're almost home. I go, no, I got to go now. And he goes, well, this is how I knew he wasn't Italian. He goes, I have a cousin who owns this little bodega up here. And I'm like, oh, okay. There's no Italian people that own, like, little convenience stores.
Yeah.
And I went in his cousin's place and was in there for a while and... embarrassed myself. I came out, they were laughing at me, and I started laughing because I could take a joke, but I never took his calls again.
Oh, why? You're just embarrassed because you had to go to the bathroom?
Man, yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't
I was
worry
young.
about it. Do you, when you go, you know, when you're with Luca, do you...
What is this? Poop, love, and...
No, do you close
Love,
the door,
poop, and all.
or are you totally cool
I opened the front door, as a matter of fact.
I don't understand. Were you embarrassed because you took so long or because you were playing a trumpet back there?
Everything. But let's move on. You're you're targeting a demographic, John, you're not going to be happy with.
All right, exactly. So here you go. Is there something that you won't do sexually?
Well, now I wouldn't sleep with another woman. I wouldn't do a threesome. I always joke. I do a joke in my act. I'm like, if there was another woman in bed with us, I'd be like, you got this covered because I got shit to do. You know, but I don't. I mean, I would do that now because it would damage our relationship. But before that, I would have.
So an anal's okay.
Yeah, listen, we're married. None of that stuff happens. We got the kiddies.
No, what do you mean
house.
none of that stuff happens?
None of that stuff happens. That's like drug and fueled sex. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? That's not like a regular Thursday. Let's watch, you know, television and put it on. That's not after a Game of Thrones thing. You know what I mean? It's Sunday.
All right, go ahead. You got one for me?
Okay. Let's see. What is your definition of cheating? It's deep, right? Like, lots of people cheat.
That's a great question.
Right? Like at Bill Clinton, we're dealing with Hillary.
That is a great question.
He didn't have sex with her, but is that still cheating?
You know, I thoroughly still, and ladies don't hate me, but I thoroughly still believe
Too late.
I thoroughly still believe in the double standard. If I flirt on like Facebook or Tinder and stuff like that, I don't think that's cheating. I guess as soon as you make out with another girl, I would say that's cheating.
So even if you had like FaceTime visits and stuff, that's okay?
Well, I don't do that because I'm usually like, hungover in the morning and my hair's up to here. And no.
I'm saying like you couldn't have phone sex or anything like that. That's not cheating to you?
Not phone sex, no. I don't think phone sex.
So,
sexting I don't think is cheating.
But there has the word sex in it.
Yeah, but look, we all got to fulfill our fantasies, especially when like you've been married for a lot of years. I mean, you got to get. I mean, you have to have some. I mean, I don't know.
My fantasy is to stay home on a weekend.
No,
I don't have any fantasies.
No, but I'm saying like so like to you, it's Luca. That's it. Like, aren't you bored after a while? Same guy, freaking.
Well, I think everybody gets bored.
Same
I'm
sweaty,
sure.
hairy dude on top of you.
Yeah, but I'm sure. First of all, he doesn't sweat, or we wouldn't have got married. Number one, because I had one guy drip on me one time, and he was out. I just can't take that kind of stuff. I'm not listen. I'm not doing this for crack. Like this is. But I think that I think every marriage, that's what you do. You go. It's ebbs and flows. Like you have to keep it going. Like it.
So you role play or?
Yeah, we role play.
Do you? So
Yeah, here's
so
what
what's
we
the
role play.
wackiest?
I'm home, and you're not. No, I just think I have a different. It's not like a marriage like everybody else who sits there Monday through Sunday with each other. I'm gone. I've been gone 10 days, so when I go home, it's fresh again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
well,
not.
That's what Howie said. He said the reason for his successful marriage was because he's not there all the time.
Right, that's the truth. I end up missing him. He misses me. I'm sure he wants to bang somebody else at some point. I'm sure that he just knows that the consequences are worse. I know the consequences. You don't stop becoming a sexual being, but you learn how to stay in your yard.
Well, okay. Let me ask you.
Or you don't, John.
All right. What is your favorite sexual position?
Outside.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't even know, man. When my son's not around, whatever we can do, I mean, I used to always like to do things other places.
All right, good.
I used to like to try to have sex in every state. I had that whole
Did you ever
thing.
have sex on the beach?
We had sex everywhere. Sex on the beach is not sexy. All the fantasies are not as sexy.
I had great sex on the beach.
I'm sure you did. You don't remember it even. You don't even know with who. And was it a woman?
Come on, Tammy. Yeah, no.
Could have been a passed out, and it's a dog licking your balls.
Actually, it was a woman, and I loved it, man. It was great.
Good for you.
Okay. Yeah, it's your turn.
Hold on, my husband. Can you believe he's calling on the other line right now? Mine aren't like you're all about the sexual stuff. I just have like, who's your greatest champion? Like, who at the end of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and you look at it,
mm-hmm.
Who do you think championed your life and made the biggest difference in your life? Could be your wife, could be your kids, could be your boss, could be your parents. Who was the biggest champion of your life? And don't puss out and say me.
No, I would say my mom. She was always supportive for anything I did, from playing music to, acting or whatever. She's always been as supportive as ever. Although it got to the point when I started to become somewhat famous on the Howard Stern show, and she felt I owed it to my fans, so they found out where that she lived when I was living there, and at like 11:30 at night, I'll be in bed with my girlfriend.
At your mother's house?
Yeah, and then she'll knock on the door. I mean, she'd get a knock on the door, and there'll be a couple of fans there, and they wanted to meet me, and she's like, Johnny, come on down. You got fans here. I go, what?
When you were on the Price is Right? Yeah. Johnny, come on down. You're the next contestant.
So, who do you fantasize when you masturbate?
I don't even think I fantasize anymore. Like, it's done. I watch something. I've always been a very visual person.
So you watch
just
porn
watch
and stuff.
Something. Yeah.
All right, then my last one is, have you ever thought of another guy while making love to your husband?
You know what? If I answered that, I'm going to get killed. I've never done it.
You liar.
I truly haven't while we're making love. I really haven't, because I'm always very present in it. But
your nose is getting as big as the girl who hated my Crocs.
No. I swear to God, here's the thing. I'll tell you why. You want to know the truth? I'll tell you the honest to God's truth. I have superhuman hearing. And so when that kind of stuff is going on, I totally am in it. Like, why do you think I married him? Like,
No, he's a good-looking guy.
He's very good looking, and he knows exactly. Like, you get a rhythm. That's why you pussed out. You got out of your marriage, but we have a rhythm.
Well, good for you. You have a successful marriage, and
well, as of today, as of today, it takes work there, Chachi.
I did. Now, listen, we're going to come back here.
This guy's successfully married on the phone.
Yeah, that's exactly.
2 kids.
To Lori, and we have Guy Fieri now. We're going to call him right now, and then boom, we're going to interview Guy about a whole lot of crap.
This is the Stuttering John Podcast.
All right, it's the Stuttering John Podcast featuring Tammy Pescatelli, and now we have a good friend of mine, one of the best chefs. He is the face of the Food Network, and man, does he have freaking great parties. Give it up for Guy Fieri.
Nice intro, buddy. You got that whole like announcer voice, and then you go into the host mode, and I'm impressed.
Thanks, Guy. It's good. Thanks so much for calling in.
You're my brother, man. I'll call you. Am I calling you in jail, or where are you?
we were at the Podcast One Studios in Beverly Hills, California. It's a beautiful place. This is where like Adam Carolla does his, and like Dr. Dre and a bunch of other people. And I'm so happy that you called. You are, Tammy and I's second guest. We had Howie Mandel for the first week, and now we have you.
Howie Mandel,
yeah,
the man. I get to be in the likes of that cat. See, already your show's a hit.
Well, yeah, Guy, it's a game show theme because Howie had Deal or No Deal, and of course you had A Minute to Win It, which my kids and I used to watch all the time.
Well, you're again showing your taste and quality and fine entertainment. So I pretty much at this point, I guess I can just hang up and say goodbye and say thanks for having me.
But just so you know, Tammy, like Guy has a party once a year.
Okay.
And it's what the Festivus, Guy.
It is Festivus Maximus. So there's Festivus for the rest of us, and this is the other party. This is the West Coast version.
Yeah, so every year, I'm invited. It's all like costume themed. So like it was like SNL characters or Cannonball Run characters. And I always go, and let me tell you, Guy is like, first of all, he's got a billion friends, and just like it's so much fun, Guy. And I've done stand-up there, and I've roasted people and
roasted people. You sent people home. Roasted people. Oh my God, none of my friends have ever been to anybody's roast, nor have they ever been roasted. And of course, I invite you, and thinking that he'll take into consideration these are just mortals, and you just, oh my God, it was so funny. But you know what? You do it, and you do it so well, and you're so genuine about it. All my buddies love you.
Well,
matter of fact, they expect to see you whenever we have the festivities.
Oh yeah,
Guy, did you have to save him? Did they want to beat him up?
Oh no, it was literally okay. And thanks, John, my good friend, John, Stuttering John, famous guy, good guy, comedian, funny guy, funny comedian, not anybody to beat up.
Well,
my friend.
Well, like my first joke, Guy. Can I say my first joke? Because
no, you can't. I don't remember what it was.
Because he does. Trust me.
No, because Guy, and I do want to ask you about this because Guy had received a bad review for his restaurant in Times Square. So I always like to. I go to Guy's house, and he goes, John.
It was a crock, by the way, that review, right? That was a big crock.
Yeah, because Guy's the best. I've eaten his food. He's like the best. But anyway, so I'm at Guy's house, and he goes, you got to come see my tortoise. And he goes, I raised this tortoise since it was like 6 inches long. Now the thing is like, what, 3 or 4 feet, Guy?
Are you going to talk about you trying to have sex with my tortoise?
No, I tried. He wouldn't come out of his shell. No, but anyway, so I'm there. No, I know that was a hacky thing to say, but anyway.
Don't justify.
So I'm there, and I'm hanging out with me, Guy, and his tortoise, and he goes, John, you're never going to guess what this thing, his favorite dish is. And I go, I don't know what. He goes, you got to guess.
This topic must have really impressed you. It's like the 10th time you talked about this. If you want, I'm going to make you some some tortoise porn.
So I go,
the tortoise eating the dog shit.
So I go, yeah. So he goes, guess. I go, I don't know what, dog food. He goes, no. This tortoise loves hot, steaming, fresh dog shit. That's what he loves to eat. So cut to me on stage. First joke. Hey, I was at guy's house. He showed me his tortoise. He told me that the tortoise's favorite dish was hot, fresh, steaming dog shit. Unfortunately, that was inspiration for his restaurant in Times Square.
It's a funny joke, John.
That was not the joke you told.
Oh, well, it's the way he has it in his head now, Guy. He revised it like a lot of comics do.
I'm telling you. You know what? The older you get, the better you were. You are so out of your mind, dude. There's no way. That was not the line.
What was the line?
Listen. I don't reuse people's bad material. I don't use bad material. I definitely don't.
No, it was something like, or that was the main ingredient.
You're lucky. I know why you didn't want to have me in studio for this goddamn interview, because right now I would have been pulling you over. This is good.
No, Guy.
Sex with my tortoise. That's all people are going to remember in this interview.
No, but Guy, it was something like that, right?
No, it was some inappropriate, derogatory comment towards me and the majority of my friends at my party. But we all, again, I mean, and then there was no one felt bad when you were, thrown in the fountain and all that other stuff.
Well, the truth is, it was weird because some people laughed and your really good friends were like, oh. But I looked to you and you were laughing, so I thought I was okay.
Brother, listen. We're all in this business, be it in the chef business or the entertainment business, and if you don't have some thick skin and you can't laugh at situations and you can't take it for what it is and who it's coming from, then you got to then you got to get out. So no, you've been nothing but funny and nothing but good. And what I like is that you got to come out doing it. There's a lot of people that talk about doing it. You do it, baby.
Oh, no. Like, Guy told me that one of his friends had really bad breath, and everyone was afraid to tell him. So I came up with a bottle of Scope mouthwash signed by everybody in the crowd and said, dude, your friends are trying to tell you something. Take this.
Everybody thought that was hysterical for him. Everybody.
but Guy, I love Guy. I met Guy, just so you know, on the Tonight Show. He was a guest, and I said, Guy, please come to the Tin Horn Flats. I go there in Burbank, and I, come hang out, which he graciously did, and then we hung out, and then right there I was hanging out, I was goofing around with him and his friends, and then while I was driving home, I was so honored by this call, Guy, because you called me and said, John, I would love for you to come to my party and roast my friends, and I was like totally taken aback. It was such a great compliment.
Well, I invited you as my friend and as a cool dude, and I figured since everybody brings something to the party, why not have you come and help me thin out the crowd a little bit and keep some people from coming back.
Get rid of some of your friends.
I gotta bang for the buck. So, no, man, you're a great guy, and you're such a great talent. And of course, we all enjoyed you back in the day with Stern, and I know what you did for Jay and how instrumental you were. I mean, everybody. It's like I tell people that the writers that I have on Guys Grocery Games. I have this great guy named Bob Stone, and Bob is looking at things in a 360 for me always, or a 720. I mean, this guy's all over the place, and it's the way your mind works, and as fast as it works, and as much as you come up with, and as how you come up with it, and what medications you take. I don't know, but you're a funny son of it. I mean, seriously, you're hysterical.
Thanks, Guy. And and the reason why I like, and this is, and I'm just going to get, because, and Tammy and I were discussing this, with Howie about, as a comedian, like for us, if you get like 20 great reviews or like 20 great tweets about your set, like at a stand-up club, it's cool. But that one negative one, does that, like, for instance, like, I know you've gotten 1 billion great reviews. You're one of the most successful chefs in our day. But does that one review, like, does that one thing bother you more, or you just kind of just say, screw it, I'm not going to care?
Are you talking about the review for my report card in 8th grade?
No.
The counselor?
No, I'm saying if you got a bad review,
you're beating a dead horse topic, but I'll indulge you just because you keep talking.
No, not he. I don't. To butt in,
No,
guy. I don't think that.
Listen, it doesn't. You know what? The reviews to me. You know who the review that I want? I want the review you give me, John. I want the review that my buddy, Aaron May, who's a really well-known chef. I want the review that Emerald gives me. I want the people that are chefs, that are in the business, or friends, or people that I know that appreciate great food, and people that have an awareness of the industry and all that. Those are the people that I want to listen to. There's a lot of reviews. There's all these different social media options that people have, and people are much more vocal. They don't necessarily have to have an identity for it. So it's hard. It's hard to not get sucked into it, but in the same respect, if you sit there and you chase that ghost, it's like you trying to find who's Fred from Chicago that doesn't like what you did. No, I pay attention. I keep my ear really close to the ground and find out who's saying what about what, and I try to keep those comments and really try to take those and put those into play.
Oh, yeah.
But no, man, I got told in this business a long time ago, way before. You've been in this business for a long time. I got told, don't read all the reviews. Don't get sucked into the vortex of that, or you're just going to get yourself in a real weird spin. So I try to just pay attention to the people that I think have a true awareness and attitude about what's going on. And sometimes those are people that I even really like. I'm just saying, you keep it the context of whose opinion do you appreciate. That's probably the best way to say it.
Yeah, no, and I wasn't, and Guy, please, no, I didn't mean it as a dig. I meant like me as a comic.
I'm not thinking it as one at all. No, they didn't. God, Jesus.
Well, we asked Howie that too. Like it's about like who do you think has an opinion about you, and who do you accept, and that we did that with Howie yesterday. But basically, Guy, what I only wanted to say to you is OH.
Hello?
Yeah, aren't you from Columbus, Guy? OH.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, OH. I thought you said OH, and I go, I don't know, is that a code word?
Yeah, OHIO, right? Like Columbus, aren't you?
Yeah, I was born in Columbus when I was born in Columbus, but my parents were only there for 2 months or maybe 2 weeks after I was born. And they took off for California, and so we've been in California ever since. But I still got a bunch of cousins that live in the Columbus and Cleveland area, so I still got ties to it.
So we're probably related, is what you're telling me.
Aren't we all? My mom went to Ohio State. My dad was kicked out of Ohio State.
I have a quick question for you. I once learned. Now, you tell me what you think of this. As someone who is just one of the best in your field, I was once told that a kitchen in a restaurant is clean direct proportionally to the bathroom. If the bathrooms are clean, you know that they clean the kitchen clean. Is that true?
I think I've never heard that analogy. Well, I shouldn't say I've never heard that analogy, but I would say that there is a real truth in that, except for the fact of how busy your restaurants can be.
Of course.
Or how busy your I had this one restaurant there's so much volume that literally I had to have the busboy bus a table, go to the men's restroom, bus a table, go to the men's restroom, to check it each time. But no, if you get in there and the toilet's not clean, like it hasn't been scrub brushed, if it's got stains in it, if someone's not taking the time and attention to take care of that, then yeah, I think that might reflect in just the overall attitude of cleanliness. Is it the school rule of saying the urinal's dirty, so everything else must be dirty? No, I don't think there's a direct correlation, but I think there is some relevance to that. I think and I'm one of those people. I think like a lot of people, I look in restaurants, and I don't go investigate the restaurant before I eat there. But I walk into a restaurant, I'm like, this could be a lot nicer. I'm not talking about the decoration. I'm just talking about the cleanliness, the way it smells, are there paper towels available, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but
Good question, though. I've never had anybody ask me that question.
Because that's me, baby. Well, that's Italian. Like the first rule of a recipe in our house was first do you wash.
John, I didn't know you have a smart co-host on your team. Damn. That's where you're getting the funding.
And Guy, I'm sorry if you thought I was like offending you. I wasn't trying. I was just saying like
offending me. I'm just giving you shit back.
Oh, good, because just as a comic, we were talking about with Howie. Like I'll get like 100 people tweeting me saying they love me. And then today I get this one guy going, hey, you're a Howard Stern sellout. F you. You're not funny. You're not talented. You know, like, and it's like, that's the one you think about. Like, it's not the 100 that say something good. It's those freaking social trolls that, like, just, you know, like, that's what they do. They just want to put you down, you know?
You got to look at today's world. There's so many people with so many abilities to so many different types of social media that if we really allow ourselves to be taken in by that, then it's craziness. I mean, because just walk up to me and tell me that.
Exactly.
Say this. Walk up and say that to my face. Tell me why I'm a whatever you think I am, and I'll listen to it. I'll actually listen to it. And then maybe I can convince you that I am not a whatever you think I am. But the reality of it is people don't want to do that. Oh, maybe they'll do it drunk because now they want to fight, you know, or something.
Yeah.
But in the real context of being adults and being mature about the situation, if I have a profound position or opinion about you or what you're doing that I do not like, I'm either going to, you know, have the balls to come up and tell you, I'm going to shut up about it.
Yeah, no, and
that's how I am. I mean, not everybody's going to be, John, the way that you and I are. So my opinion is, I just don't engage. It's not worth it.
No, well, that's what. See, guy makes a great point because what happened to me, some guy was like tweeting me some hate,
right?
And instead, before I go, you know, F you, whatever, I always write, why are you saying that? What did I do? What's is bothering you?
No, but you're giving them too much. Yeah. You're giving them too much credit because they're looking for a response. It's like when somebody yells something you go to a basketball game. You know, of course, we're in the midst of the NBA playoffs and we're having tough times, and you know my team, and I listen to people yelling, and people tweets, and people comments about my team, the Warriors, and I just want to sit there and go, do you understand the physical, mental demands that it takes for these guys to do what they do? And you're going to yell from the 18th row with 16 beers in you about what
See, Guy, it's a good thing you left Ohio because you wouldn't even worry about success with your teams. Because in Cleveland, I'm nervous that the Cavs might actually win because so many people will die of heart attacks like they did in Boston with the Red Sox. So you're lucky.
Listen, I should have just shut up when I had a chance. I walked into that. I didn't even see the baseball bat being swung. Yeah. Your boy, hey, listen, LeBron and the Cavs, I mean, I can't say enough about it. I have a bunch of buddies that live there in Akron, and they all go to the games, and they send me pictures and say, you got to come and see it, and you got to come and see it. I'm like, yeah, just let me get over it. I'll come see it in the finals, I wish, you know. So.
Well, are the Cavs still in it?
Yes, of course. Well, maybe not by the time this airs, but
no, because I mean, you know, Golden State. So you know, who's? I'm not a basketball guy. I'm a baseball, football guy. So who's doing better, guy? Is the Cavs or the Warriors?
Well, the Cavs right now, the Cavs are dominating. Last night they just took Toronto apart in pieces.
Yeah.
And it was just, but I mean, again, there's only one LeBron James in the whole universe, and so you know, and the team was just firing on all cylinders, and the Warriors are down. The Warriors are down 1-3 against OKC. So tonight's the game that will determine if we continue on. So it's tough times. It's really tough times, especially you know with the great season that the Warriors had. You know, breaking the Bulls record of 73 wins. But
which doesn't happen to be bad when your coach is actually an old Bull, so that's good, right?
Oh yeah,
Guy, who was your favorite?
I had my son. I had my 10-year-old son Ryder, who John you met, and I had Ryder there. I took him to that game. He's a huge Warriors fan, and I'll have to explain to your kid, you know, about why your team wins and then what happens when they lose and how do they feel. It's try to make it a learning. You know, all these life lessons, life experiences, try to make a learning piece out of it for him.
That's good. I was going to say, I was going to ask you who your favorite chef is, but that actually a learning piece. That makes me think about. Do you subscribe to the "everybody's a winner" thing, like when your kids are part of those things?
No,
right?
No, I'm not. You know, I've got two boys. I got Hunter and Ryder, and then I got my nephew. Jules, and they're all athletes, and they all have their things that they prevail in. But no, I believe that there's part of life is not winning, and part of life is losing, and part of life is having a tough day, and all those things are real. And I think you got to take the moment. You got to, my little guy plays competitive travel basketball. He's only in fourth grade, and they've had some real tough losses, and against teams that they were better than. And we have that ride home in the car, and I don't sit there and hammer him about it. I just ask him when he wants to talk about it. I'm here to talk about it. Not criticizing the game or criticizing him or blaming on the refs. I don't participate in that kind of stuff. We just talk about it. We just talk about how's it feel. What would you like to do better next time? What do you think you did great? And let him kind of lead the conversation versus me, break it down for him as an adult and tell him, because that's not what it is. There's going to be ups and downs in life, and you're going to have not what happens to you, it's how you choose to handle it. So that kind of falls back to everything we've been talking about with social media and people's comments and so forth. It's just, what level are you? How do you play the game of life? Do you get sunk down into it, or do you just stand up and take it on every day? That's how I choose to do it.
I do got to ask you, because like with me, like my moniker obviously, is Stuttering John. People know me as a stutterer, right? And,
but you don't stutter anymore.
Well, yeah, I do. I just had a couple of beers. I'm slurring, John. But what I'm like...
Back on with Guy Fieri.
Oh, yeah, I'm back on with Guy Fieri. Sorry. She is a smarter one. But now, where did you come up with the signature hair? What was that? Was that just like out of nowhere?
Oh, God. You want to talk about wrong day, wrong time. So... I had a rocker mullet. I mean, we're talking 15 years ago, maybe longer than that. I had this long hair, all combed back, the cool ponytail and all that kind of stuff. Not that you can even really say cool ponytail and make that sound right. Kind of oxymoron. And the girl that cut my hair, she cut my hair, named Christina, a great girl, still good, really good friend of mine. She says, "When are you going to do something with this hairstyle?" She goes, "You got to come on." And I said, "You know what? You've been giving me such a hard time out for so long," and I was just kind of one of those vulnerable days of like, whatever, just do what you want. And so she cuts my hair and the whole thing, and then she takes this thing off my head, and I go, "Okay, wow, that's short." And I said, "Well, you going to wash the soap out of it? Because I got to go. I mean, we got dinner starting soon at the restaurant." She goes, "Well, no, that's your hair color." And it's just platinum white. And I'm like, "Oh, God, no. Oh, no, this is no, you didn't do this. No." And so I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I'm so dumbfounded, and I got to leave. I can't wait. I mean, we got a banquet going at the restaurant. So I throw my ball cap on, and I go to the restaurant, and I come walking through the door, and it was like, seriously, I'd walked through the door 3 heads on. Because people were just looking at me like, A, where did your hair go? But B, more importantly, what happened to your hair? And so that's just how it started. And, and I'm always good for a joke, and I'm always good for, doing something different. I've always kind of lived a little bit on the wild side. And so I said, okay, I'll just roll this. And it just kind of stuck. I wore it, and it just kind of, whatever. And then it grew out about 8 weeks. And I said, I'd do it again, whatever. So it all was going along fine. Sometimes I'd dye it black. Sometimes I'd dye it, brown, whatever. I'd just move it around. But when I happened to go for the Food Network edition or the show, the Food Network star, I had the bleached hair. I mean, that's just, I guess it was just in that time of year. Well, all I remember is after I won, someone looked at me and said, "Better not change that hair color, buddy." And I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, it's your thing. I mean, like, it's like it's your thing. Everybody,
signature.
Yeah, it's your signature now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't know, buddy, how long. It's like you losing the stuttering. I don't know how long I'm going to be keeping the bleach hair. There'll be a time. We'll probably have some ceremony when I shave it all off and let it grow back. I don't even know what color it is now. It's got to be half gray.
Well, you're rich. Well, here's the difference. Here's the difference, guys. You're rich. You can change your hair. I'm not. I got to still stutter.
Touché, my friend. Touché.
But anyway, guy, like the subtitle of the podcast, it's Stuttering John and Tammy, whatever. But the other thing is love, romance, and other lies. You have been successfully married for how many years?
Gosh, so she's not listening, is she? So it's got to be 25.
Holy crap! I mean, that is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so
Lori is she's a pretty amazing person, and I don't know how to put it. We went through, don't get me wrong, the ups and downs of going from being kids at 22 to being 23 years old to I'm 48 now. So we've been through it. We've been through restaurant openings and
Where'd you meet?
TV stuff, and we've been through all that, and 2 boys and 1 in college and all this kind of stuff. But you learn to, adapt, and you learn to become creative. And now I'm very blessed. She's an amazing person. I don't know that I would, if it was a flip side and she went through it and I was standing by, I don't know how well I would have handled it.
Oh, no, because she's like, I've hung out with her, and she is so cool. I mean,
she's solid, yeah.
And so down to earth, and so much fun, and just always having a good time. And yesterday, Howie told us, or last week, Howie told us that the reason for his success in his marriage was because he's away all the time.
Yeah, it helps. Mine too. But who cooks at your house, Guy? Who cooks at your house on a daily basis?
Oh, I cook. I cook all the time. Matter of fact, I cook.
That's
why. Cook for when I'm leaving. So I cook and have meals done. So there's food for the family when I'm gone, or they'll go to one of my restaurants. But we have a whole regimen about how we do it. I'm going to be gone for 4 or 5 days, and I'll go and roast off a few chickens, or cook up some pork tenderloin or something. So and I'll kind of give her a little rundown. Well, you could chicken enchilada with this or that.
Wow.
Lori knows how to cook.
Of course.
The basics, but I kind of get things set up for him. And that's kind of my job. But
do you also agree with the Howie thing that it's about not, because I'm divorced. So, but it's good to have some separation because you're on the road a lot?
I think that what's that old saying? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think there's definitely. I think you always need a little bit of time apart. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's not a good thing. But for the most part, I think it's worked out well. The harder part is being away from the kids.
No, I know that
back
is.
In the day, Skype was all we had. Now we got FaceTime and all that kind of stuff. But that's the toughest part. And I've told people this a million times. I think you and I've even talked about it. My career, I think, could have even gone further, and I think I could have done a lot more had I lived in L.A. or lived in New York. But I wanted to raise my kids. Laura and I wanted to raise our kids in a small community like Northern California, and that's what we chose to do. My parents did the same thing. They lived in a small town, and I got a chance to live in an environment that was very nurturing for growth. And so it's always family, and the kids are, that's the first priority.
Well, what do you mean do more? You freaking are like the face of the Food Network. You have like a billion shows on. You were a game show host. I mean, what more? I mean, what are you thinking that you haven't done?
I mean, come on. Should I have like an action star? Like a movie? No, you know what? Believe it or not, I'll tell you, there's just so many things that go on, so many things I'd like to go to, so many things I'd like to be involved in. And, you've been to my house. It's a good 2.5 hour ride from San Francisco to, up to the wine country. So, there's some things like that, but I wouldn't trade it at all, man. I'm blessed. I'm so happy and so fortunate to be, and my parents live next door to me, so I got that, we got that thing going.
He's got a great setup there. He's got like a billion cars. He's a car collector.
Yeah.
And getting back to him cooking, Tammy, he cooked and I'm sure he cooked a dish, for his pre-party before the other party. I forget what it was, Guy. It was like pasta with like chicken thighs or something.
I'm sure that's what it was called, John.
Chicken mamu.
Yeah, and it was so freaking delicious. I mean, it's just like you just know what the hell you're doing. And like I asked him about, I like the only dish I make is beer can chicken.
Right.
And I said, and I went through my ingredients, and he goes, "John, you got to add some garlic to that."
Right. It's crazy.
But it's like you trying to tell me how to tell a joke. There's some things that you just get inherently. You just get the foundation of it, and it's. Listen, here's what I tell people all the time. They say, "Oh, I'm a terrible cook." I say, "Well, does anybody eat it?" Well, yeah, they eat it. then you're not a terrible cook. Because if nobody's eating it, then you're a terrible cook. Otherwise, you're a chef in training. All right, you just got to be willing to take chances, and that's what people don't want to do. Is they don't want to fail.
Well, that's.
But as being a comic, if you're not willing to fail, well, then you should never be willing to be a comic because it's a whole bunch of trial and error.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing as a chef. We have to be willing to try and develop and create new things all the time, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Well, that's, I don't cook at all, and that's very hard as an Italian girl. Like, and my mother-in-law, like, that was her life's work, right? That if you didn't cook, you weren't a good wife, you weren't a good mother, it didn't matter. So she had a real hard time with me throughout the course of my husband's an amazing cook. But what's one thing that you could tell me, Guy, that is simple, like a trick, a little inside for someone like me who doesn't cook at all?
Well, first I'm going to say we better go to Ancestry.com and make sure that you're really Italian.
I'm not hairy either.
That was the Cleveland Cavaliers Warriors joke on your part.
Well, what John didn't tell you is I am a comedian too. So
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom.
No,
it's
okay.
referencing the Ancestries.com. I mean, that's a big, because if you're going to drop a big bomb joke, you got to have the details, right? That's a little Stuttering John advice.
Don't take your comedy advice from Stuttering John.
That's not nice.
I take the how to dress, how to do well in public. I take all of them. I'll tell you something. Well, being Italian, pasta is one of the most. It's one of the easiest and most difficult dishes for people to do because they think it's just really simple. Like, well, if I'm going to boil the water and then put the pasta in it, then why don't I just put the pasta in it while the water's getting warm?
At least I know that.
That's a common question. Salting water. You got to put at least a tablespoon of salt into a gallon of water.
I do that.
When you're cooking pasta. And you got to have at least a gallon, if not 5 quarts, of boiling salted seasoned water to cook a pound of pasta. So that's a basic box or basic bag of pasta. And then the rule is before you drain the pasta, and the pasta should be almost done when you get ready to drain it. And that draining setup should be done. But it's those simple little activities about pasta that take pasta from being great, like, wow, that tastes like I eat at the restaurant, to, that tastes like the terrible stuff I used to eat in the lunchroom. And the difference is, pasta is the foundation of a lot of cultures of their food. I mean, that's like the basis of it. The protein wasn't the foundation because they sometimes didn't have it. But typically, they could always have the pasta available. So that would be simple. But I'll give you what my go-to is, and that's roasting chicken. I think that we have so many things. We're buying processed deli meats. We're buying chicken breasts, so it's no flavor, no energy, no attitude, nothing. Get yourself a nice chicken, organic or naturally, antibiotic free. Try to find the better chicken that you can, and give it a nice seasoning, something that you like. Then you can buy a packaged seasoning. If you take it spicy, go Cajun. You can take a little lemon pepper, garlic, so whatever kind of spices you like, season it under the skin if you can. Throw a little mirepoix, throw a little onions and carrots and celery down in the pan. Roast that chicken off. Let it sit for about an hour before you roast it. Let the seasoning soak in. Roast that chicken off. Use a bimetallic thermometer. Use a digital thermometer to check that temperature of the chicken, and cook that chicken up and let it rest. And roasted chicken, gosh, it's so versatile.
Yeah, but how do you do it? Wait, Guy. Well, first of all, you lost me a meat cloth or whatever it was, but how do you? I mean, how do you roast a freaking chicken?
You put it in the pan and then put it in the.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll break it down. Chickens typically have 2 legs and feathers.
Yeah. Don't say.
The feathers and all of the innards out of the chicken. No. Okay. Let me break it down for you. I'll make it a little bit easier.
Oh, no, because I do the beer can way, but what do you do?
The beer can.
I just told you.
No, how is he cooking it in the? Wait, he didn't say how he cooked it.
Typically, what happens? The beer can's fantastic because what you're doing is you're creating the beer's heating up in the can, and it's creating moisture inside of the oven, and it's giving the aromatics of the beer that are help seasoning the chicken. But there's so much more. If you don't have a beer can or you don't want the mess of trying to put the beer can inside the chicken and all that, take a chicken, pat it dry, rub it with whatever seasoning concoction you like. Simple little mixture of
I got all that.
Garlic.
You lost him at cock.
No, I don't know.
Where did I lose him?
No. The only thing I don't. But so then, how do you cook it? Do you barbecue it? You just throw.
So I'm getting there. Okay.
Right.
Patted it dry. Okay. We've hit it with whatever seasoning concoction you like. Okay. Could be prepackaged.
I got it.
If all you put on it was salt and pepper, you'd be in good shape.
Yes.
That's a good beginning. Okay.
All right.
Put amount of it. You can't really. I mean, granted, you can over salt it, but you really can't too much. Rubbing it all over it. If you can get some under the skin, fantastic.
Okay.
Into a pan. If you have a rack where it doesn't have to be sitting directly on the pan, something can lift it off the pan a little bit,
all right,
so the air can circulate all around the chicken.
Yeah.
Okay. You take that chicken, throw it in the oven 350 degrees. Now, depending on the size of the chicken, you could be anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half.
Wow.
Okay.
He didn't say that. He didn't say 350 degrees and all that.
Well, he's not used to dealing with illiterates like us. Like us.
I mean, you don't cook, at least.
I said like us. I included us.
Hey.
I thank you for that.
Now,
that's so
there's
sweet.
There's a couple variables. I'm going to make it real easy for you, John, because here's where it's going to get simple. Is if you take and get a thermometer, you can buy them at any grocery store. You can buy them at a cooking store. A digital thermometer, something that you can put in the chicken and read the temperature quickly.
Okay.
And you put it in the thickest part of the chicken, like the chicken breast, without touching the bone. And you get that read, okay? You want to get that chicken right up there at 165.
See, that's another thing.
What happens is people don't like to do that. They don't have the thermometer, so they go and they cut into the chicken. And then as soon as they cut into the chicken, they're letting all those natural juices that are just bubbling inside of that chicken, they let all those juices come out.
I'm hungry. I'm so hungry. Like, it doesn't even.
Tammy, you know what? I didn't know that this was going to go here, but I am so happy, Guy, because I'm going to try everything you said. The only thing you got to explain to me is what was that mirrorcloth thing? What the hell is that?
Mirepoix. Okay, Mirepoix.
He's getting a meerkat from National Geographic.
Mirepoix is simply carrots, onions, and celery. And it's the foundation of so many great sauces and dishes, and I mean, it's where all these great flavors come from. It's naturally sweet. So when you throw carrots, onions, and celery in there, the juices of the chicken, the moisture's coming out of the chicken, dripping into the pan. The carrots, onions, and celery are cooking down. You throw a little bit of white wine into the bottom of that pan. Throw a little bit of chicken stock maybe into the bottom of that pan. It's making that natural jus, that natural sauce.
Yeah. Well,
and the great thing about it is when you're done with that chicken and you strain that sauce over and you ladle that over the top as that chicken is cooking and you're basting it with its own natural juices. That's what your mom used to do with that turkey baster. Suck up all the juice.
I don't know,
dude.
This is food sex. This is crazy. You're that good of a chef that you can make me hungry just by describing how to make the food.
Guy,
oh my God.
Guy, my mom's idea, she's Danish. Her idea of a good Italian meal was ragu and spam. Okay.
Went big with it, did she? Went big with it.
But Tammy's right. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
I want to eat chicken now.
This is why the chefs are king of Vegas now.
Now that we have the internet and now that you have YouTube and so forth, there's a lot of great videos out there. I mean, I'll tell you something. The Food Network, and I get so much credit. There's so many dynamite chefs on there, and everybody's got their own little technique and spin and style. But a lot of the majority of the fundamentals are the same. And all I'll tell you, practice makes perfect, and everybody can take a dry chicken and break it down and take that chicken meat and go throw it into soup. And on you go to chicken noodle soup, and we'll try it again next time.
You know what, Guy?
That's what it takes.
Guy, you'll be proud of me. I've been making my own chicken broth from my beer can chicken carcass, along with the celery, carrots, and onions. I've been doing that like all the time.
You didn't even know, and there's Chef Stuttering John.
Well, look, I don't, Guy. Let me ask you one thing. If Tammy's in town, could she come to the Festivus Maximus party with me?
Well, you know what? We're postponing next year.
Why?
I'm turning 49 next year.
Is it because of the
bless you.
roast?
I want my 50th to be a barn burner. So we're going to take a year off. I think we're going to a foreign country. So when we disclose what the foreign country is, and everybody will be welcome wherever we choose, whatever port we find.
You don't want to say
I will
that.
let you know. Oh no, I'm serious. I mean, we're going. I think it's Argentina. I think we're all going to go to Argentina. I just picked that randomly a few weeks ago.
Is that a long drive?
What's going to happen? What'd you say?
Is that a long drive to Argentina?
Argentina, is that by Pasadena? Argentina, Pasadena.
All right, Guy, listen, we got to wrap it up. Listen, even though you're not going to have the party, if you have even a smaller party, I'll come out just to hang out with you and your friends,
Yeah, we'll clean the dishes.
I will love to have both of you, and breaking bread with friends is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, and I love your friends.
This, man, I'm so happy that you got this show because everybody is starving for more of your intellect, your smart ass attitude. Hey, you know what? Everybody, John, you have so many fans. I've never met one fan. I've never met anybody that says, I don't like. You're great, dude. You're great. You're giving. You're generous. The show is fantastic. I appreciate you having me. I want to be back. The fact that I get to be the follow-up for Howie is awesome because I think the guy's a genius. And
thanks,
you
man.
can tell me when I can come back, and I'll bring more food porn back.
Yeah, I love it. All right, thanks, Guy. I love you, man. Give my best to Laurie.
You're the best, brother. Be good.
All right, and that's it, Tom. That was great. I mean,
He
who
was
knew?
right.
Who knew? Now I want to try the way he just told me how to cook chicken.
If you can, he's right too. Everybody does love you, but if you can cook like that, they'll love you more. I'm
right.
so hungry.
Yeah, well, that's it. And that was the Stuttering John podcast featuring Tammy Pescatelli, Love, Romance, and Other Lies. And we had Guy Fieri. It was a lot of fun. We learned a lot about Tammy and her sex life. And we learned that I don't really have any inhibitions. So we'll be back next week.
Thanks for listening to the Stuttering John podcast. Love, romance, and other lies. Catch brand new episodes with Stuttering John and Tammy Pescatelli every Wednesday on the Podcast One app. Or make it easy on yourself and subscribe now at podcastone.com.